is just fantastic.
Captain's Log, Subdate 210811.2. I've got the Arcadia picking up the disabled ships, stealthily of course, and I'm going to keep smashing them up with my pod as if they're Rocket League balls. Shame really I don't have the time to make a goal and install powerful magnets to the pod or call Sithy. Be a great game. I know many of you don't care for Twitter, but I personally find it quite amusing. It's why I've dedicated an entire series to poking fun at morons on Twitter who take things far too seriously, or go so far as to say something that is inherently dumb on many different levels. Well, today we're not going to discuss Philly D's rants. No, I think Dankula's already covered it when it comes to the coof. Instead, I want to talk about the "if all men disappeared for a day" trending hashtag. This was sent to me by one of my lovely server mods, Leona, and also by the scrumptious white Sith male. And it is in and of itself remarkable how far people will reach to make a misandrist point. Now yes, I could be considered a bit of a hypocrite here, because I myself am taking something far too seriously from Twitter. Actually, I just want to correct people, but if I've taken it too seriously, do let me know in the comments and drive up my engagement. Was that a bit too much? You know, it doesn't matter. So to start, we're going to go with Aquila CEO. If all men disappeared for a day, we get to walk around at night. Finally have weights at the gym. Wear whatever we want. Get jobs that you are qualified for. Don't worry about being harassed. Travel in peace. Girls' night out would be immaculate. Daughters would be safe. Right, so the first one, we get to walk around at night. You can already. There are some areas that are unsafe, and of course more should be done to protect you. But you are implying that women will not attack women. That's interesting. Finally have weights at the gym. Get good scrub. Or find out when your gym is least busy and go in then, like I do, where the weights are always available around lunchtime. Wear whatever we want. I'm sure in some countries that still won't be applicable. Give it a moment and you'll come to the same conclusion. But for the sake of it, you can in fact wear whatever you want. You just want to wear whatever you want without being judged. The problem is, if there are no men for a day, you're going to be judged anyway by other women. Get jobs that you are qualified for. You are therefore trying to take away jobs from others who are equally qualified, or implying that men are not qualified for the job that you believe you have been deprived of. Not worry about being harassed. X to doubt. See the first remark and apply here. Travel in peace. No, you won't, because there'll be no services for travel unless you're driving yourself. Girls' night out would be immaculate. If by that you mean remarkably dull. It would just be an echo chamber in your head of only women that agree with each other. Daughters would be safe. You clearly haven't seen DV stats what mothers do to their daughters and sons then. Alright. Bit utopian. Bit, of a reach. But we'll let it slide. Let's go to the next one. I love Lucy. If all men disappeared for a day, there wouldn't be one war in this world. For one day? You really think, with one day, you could impact that much change? Are you sure about that? All this does is tell me you forgot the last 3 words from the hashtag and simply went with "if all men disappeared," which reminds me of a rather interesting movie where society has evolved past a point where men are required. So women rule the entire world in this weird dystopia where men are treated as a second-class citizen, because of course women suffered through it, so men must suffer for it as a consequence now, which is the mentality applied to the movie. To the next one, May Hart. Sup dude? If all men disappeared for a day, Earth would heal, women would take over, wars would end, world would be a better place. Based on a recent UN report, there is no real going back. Vast sectors of employment would shut down, the economies would crash because of all those jobs that are available without anyone to plug the gap. But alright, Earth would heal, women would take over, which is seen as on par with Earth healing. Wars would end? No, it really wouldn't. Pay attention, there is still war going on in the world today. And if you've seen anything from North Korea when Kim Jong-un was suspected to be dead, I'm almost certain his, sister, taking over would hardly be an improvement. The world would be a better place. Tweets like these first 3 I've shown you so far are reasons why I find this quite amusing. Because everyone thinks so idealistic, they believe that inherently 2 X chromosomes suddenly makes the world better. Because sugar and spice and all things nice? Okay. The next one comes from Maris. If all men disappeared for a day, I would wear whatever I want. Something we covered in the first one, but I'm going to restate again. You can wear whatever you want. The people who are the judgiest about what you wear are not the blokes. It really isn't. So, onesie or pajamas? Go nuts. In fact, we would all prefer it if we could wear pajamas all day every day. I certainly would. Lounge pants are remarkably comfortable, but because of the way they stretch around my leg, they usually end up stretching over my foot, which means I end up tripping over. So I have to wash them again so they shrink back down. These are first world problems, everyone. I'm not suggesting we need cuffed hem, but at this point it is getting quite infuriating. Next we go to Kennedy. If all men disappeared for a day, I wouldn't have to lock my doors the second I got in my car. As I don't know what you've gone through to get you to a point where you feel you have to do that, there are 2 realistic options. One, you've been attacked, which of course is unacceptable. Genuinely, seriously unacceptable. Or 2, you've heard people say things enough that you've believed it enough that you've suddenly decided, I need to take extra precaution cause. Which is a bit of a reach, I will concede. But I also don't know if you're talking about locking the doors to your car when you get in the car, or whether you're talking about your front door when you leave the property. So some clarity would be greatly appreciated, thank you. Next we go back to Maris. If all men disappeared for a day, I would take a walk alone at 3 AM. Why? Why would you want to take a walk at 3 AM? Unless you're an insomniac or a nocturnal individual. Nobody wants to be doing that. Most of us want a regular sleep pattern, which is impossible. Most of us just want to chill. A 3 AM walk is usually when you're leaving someone else's place to get back to your own. It is peaceful, I'll agree, but apparently it seems to be a prevailing theme that women want to walk at night, so you're not going to be alone anyway. But because I can't sit here and poke fun all day, Grey Ghost, if all men disappeared for a day, the ripple effects to the logging, airline, firefighting, civil, medical, shipping and technological industries would be devastating. To say nothing of the fathers and sons who act as caretakers, or of single breadwinner households, you sexist fecks. And that is what a lot of the hashtag comes down to. Some might say misandrist, and then say misandry doesn't exist. You're right, it doesn't. It's sexism. It's just sexism, straight up. Which is what the entire point of the hashtag is, remember here. If we altered the hashtag to if all women disappeared for a day, there would be articles on this. Because people take such immediate offence, which is remarkable. It's hilarious too as well, because it shows who is actually quite sensitive. So when guys actually take genuine offence to something like this, it's just, oh, it's just a joke, bruh. Take a joke, bruh, take it. Which is apparently the acceptable norm. And it is a joke, I concede it's a joke, but then when poking fun at the remarkably stupid attitude taken towards the tag, i.e. this imaginary utopia, which will never exist. Just admit it to yourselves, it will never exist even if you had men disappear for one day, which is what the tag says. You're not going to accomplish anything. And even if this could be applied or if it actually did happen, vast economies would crash. The moment they crashed, it's game over. One day of your country's economy not working is devastating. If you truly believe you suddenly have all the right people to take the jobs that were suddenly removed or erased by Thanos, you're deluded. There are pills for that, by the way. Spelt Saya and ends with... No, I'm not going to finish that. Anyway, I know this is a bit different, but I couldn't help but poke fun. And it's a bit lazier because I had my father over. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch tonight. If I don't see you there, have a fantastic day. Thank you all very much for listening.
bitter sex.